Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Soben Pin, the co-founder and publisher of KhmerPost USA. Welcome to our first ever KhmerPost USA Television Show. I have to tell you that people have asked for this show for a while back, and it's been pretty persistent. But I always say that we didn't have time, or we maybe don't have enough team. But today is a special day, and the guest who I will bring you today, that we will announce in a little bit later on, that inspired me to bring the show, and this will become a regular show as an addition to the newspaper. It's 15 years ago, when I sat in a journalism class at Penn State University, I never thought I would be a publisher just 2 years after of a biweekly tabloid that run until today, and I love it more every day. I'd like to thank you, our reader, from Philadelphia to New Jersey, to New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, especially Massachusetts, its cities such as Lynn Riviera, Fall River, Worcester, last but most importantly, Lowell, where we're at here right now. I'd like to thank you, my co-founder and editor, Roger Pin, who is in Long Beach today, doing a special coverage as we are expanding our service to Long Beach, California, which began earlier this year in 2019. Without him, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you, my most dedicated staff, Chun Ling Hing, who put our newspaper layout a very professional look that helped us appeal our readers over the last decade. And thank you, our small team of dedicated staff writers and people who I've worked with over the years help us get us where we are today, including some respected author and historian like Richard Howe Jr., Irene Egan, our team from Philadelphia, including some. And as we are growing, I'd like to thank our business, small business, and corporate America, some companies who support us throughout the years by spending their advertising dollar, helping our newspaper free. By today, we have printed over 1 million copies and have shared half of the US, and will continue to grow. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do so. Our opening show today, I have, as I alluded at the beginning, I have the most exciting people I bring to you, the Cambodian rock band. They were in Boston Globe. The Low Sun also wrote about them. So let's welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Great to be here.
I wanted to introduce a little bit about this play. That this play set is 1978. A father flees Cambodia Khmer Rouge regime. 30 years later, his daughter Po traveled back to Cambodia during a trial of Dutch for crime against humanity by the International Extraordinary Chamber of Tribunal Court in Cambodia in 2008. The plays then bring back memory of her dad and how it was during the final hours of his rock band, quote unquote, before Khmer Rouge took over on April 17, just 2 days after the Cambodian New Year in 1975. Then his life, the escape of Khmer Rouge. The story focuses on Dush, who ran to Slane prison, and the chum, right there. Then as a prisoner and escape. As followed, it also offers a glimpse of the Cambodian American life, which 100,000 of Cambodians shared this sentiment all around the world. I have 6 cast members in audience with us today who play in this Cambodian rock band. First, let's welcome Eileen Do, Alin Dong, yes, who plays Pearl, yes. Albert Park, who plays Doit. Christopher Thomas Powell, who played Ted. Peter Sipler, Ram. Craig Wanabe, Watanabe. The Jump, the guy who will cry a lot throughout the job.
Absolutely.
That's me.
And our very dear, famous Asia Whitshire, who played the golden voice, Neri Sotia. Well, welcome everybody, and I know this is like today you have show and you still make the time, and and help me launch off my show that been prolonged for so long. So again, thank you and welcome. So let's start with Greg. My throughout the show, I can't help but there's a lot of time I was like holding on to my chair. I'm like, how many more intensity is he gonna give me? Anybody gonna break down at some point?
We have
right?
that every day.
So the show, first of all, the show was amazing. But how do you feel? I mean, doing this over and over. Like, do you get, you feel like you got consumed by it?
I love performing this play. This is such a good play, and it's so much fun to play with everybody, the rest of the cast, and it's actually super gratifying to be here in Lowell with so many Khmer folks, and knowing that they're coming out here and us getting a chance to meet them and talk with them, and so I concentrate on this sort of the real people who exist, whose stories that we're representing. And that's what I think about over the course of the play. To me, it's like an endless source of inspiration in terms of digging deep and performing this play and finding a way to keep staying super present and super thoughtful about, we've met so many survivors and so many next generation kids or new generation immigrants coming from Cambodia. So for me, and I think I can speak for the rest of the group, that it's super meaningful to be so connected to what the source of the play is. And so for how it feels, it's humbling. And I feel really honored and grateful to be a part of this whole process. And, I wish we could keep doing it. It's really sad that for us, it's going to come to an end, this Sunday. So,
Sunday final show.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, many viewer, like me, we grew up the environment around us, and we were mindful and conscious about the experience of our neighbor, of people in our family member experience lost. But what amazed me was also, this wasn't all about just sad. You even had the Cambodian accents through in the beginning of the play, and some of the things that you were doing that we were just like, how did you manage to make it like it's deep, but at the same time it's fun, and it's how did you find that tune?
I think there's a couple different people to credit, primarily Lauren Yee, who wrote the play. So it's crafted very well, and so there's a lot of humor written in the play, but done in a way that you can play it very naturalistically and be really true to this sort of emotional intensity of what's going on and the high stakes that the characters all experience. And yet there are things that are jokes, ultimately it's very human, and to be human is sometimes to be fallible and to for funny things to happen, even if something is really dramatic. And so I think that, Lauren, I would say, and then Marty, our director, has helped really craft those things, and Joe No, who's Khmer American, and he is the one who originated the role I'm doing, and he was involved through all the workshops as this play was developed. And so I think Lauren really relied on him and his experience, and both his parents, who were consultants basically for during the course of the play, but to shape the character of Chum around Joe. and the way he talks and the way his dad talks, because he's like, I'm basically just performing my father right now. So, I mean, I think that some of that was probably filtered through. Joe said it was really strange. He came to see our production here, and he said, yeah, it was really strange, because he's never been able to watch it, because he's done every single performance that the OSF cast, and you're talking hundreds of performances. And he says, I've never been able to see it. So it was really odd to see something that was based on the way I talk and watching someone else do it. It's like weird. And our show is different than their show. And so he's like, yeah, it's strange to be like, oh, I guess you could do it that way. Sure. You know, I guess that works. You know, there's a lot of ways for it to still be truthful and still work, but even though it's different. So, and then lastly, I'd credit myself in the sense of I started out doing a lot of sketch comedy. And so for me, it's really instinctual to hear the rhythm and find where the laughs are, you know. And so, and I just allow everyone else to check me to make sure I'm not doing too much. Yeah.
So let's just say when you said, you know, you came from the comedy show, that's also reminded me. All of you have done numbers of shows. Like you were born as an actor.
Yeah.
In the womb on stage.
I was in the womb on stage.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
My mom was pregnant with me on stage.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, how amazing it was to hear your golden voice. And you're not Cambodian.
No.
Tell us about that. So this is somebody who playing Rosary Sutia.
Yes, yes. So I sing several songs in Khmer, and we worked with the Cambodian Heritage Museum in Chicago to help learn the lyrics and the dialect, and it was a challenge. We didn't have a ton of time, but you know, you just work really hard and ask for help. And I think the most difficult part was the fact that, you know, we don't know, or I don't know exactly what every word means in Khmer. We know a general, like what the sentences mean or what the overall song means. But then if I forget or mess up a line, I can't fix it. I just have to say things that I think might be right. But yeah, but I grew up singing. My mom is a singer. She has the exact same voice as me. So this show's been a gift to get to work on a new skill, singing in a new language, and also to sing with these guys and lady in a rock band.
I mean, you guys really a true band when I was watching.
Yeah.
Did you know each other before?
No.
But we did meet way back in January. Most of us met way back in January. These two joined us later. But
Way back, January
So-
2019.
January 2019. So like what, 11 months ago?
Only 11 months ago. So you were Aline.
Yes.
So everyone from somewhere else? Tell me where you're from.
Yeah, I'm from Kentucky. I mean, I was like born in Indiana, but like I grew up in Kentucky pretty much, and went to school in Kentucky. And I don't have the accent.
Well,
goodness.
I figured that. Yes.
But yeah, Kentucky.
Kentucky, and you?
I'm from California. Yeah.
I'm from Michigan, but I'm currently based out of Chicago.
Born and raised in Chicago. Yeah.
So we got a couple Chicago,
Yeah, Los Angeles, California.
two Californian.
I was born in Texas in the Dallas area, and then based in Chicago, headed to LA.
All over the place.
All over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, you also had extensive theater backgrounds. So why don't we go over real quick? You,
Yeah.
Chris,
Sure.
well, Peter.
Yes. Yeah.
Just tell me about that, right?
No, you're good.
So
Yeah.
you look really young to me.
Oh,
How
thanks.
many
I'll
shows
take
have you
it.
been done?
Take it. I think when we had talked before, I had said over 70. It's actually over 85 now. I grew up doing, from actually age 14, doing community theater with my dad and my sister. We'd also do a children's theater in town in Chicago. So I've been doing at least 4 shows a year since I was 14 years old. So 21 years now.
Until
So,
21 years, you
yeah.
start racking up almost 100 shows.
Yeah,
That's
right.
incredible.
Getting there. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And you, Craig, the biggest star of the Cambodian rock band.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah,
long have you been
I
going
wouldn't
at
go
this?
that
How long have you been going at this?
Well, I've been working at this some 30-odd years. So coming out of school and doing children's theater, you know, where you drive around to schools and you take props out of the back of a car and you go, "Hi, kids." Yeah, doing a lot of Asian American theater. So you know, I consider this is about Khmer Americans and Khmer folks, but more this is an Asian American play to me. And I've done a lot of that, starting out in San Francisco and then also in Los Angeles, and then also getting to go around the country and doing that. So, to me, this is like an extension of that.
And one of my favorite part that really kind of drawn me into one of the character of Deutsch, and that's played by Albert.
That's right.
And I noticed your last name. You're Korean.
Yeah, I'm Korean American. Yeah.
So. And the reason why your voice was drawn to me was sounding almost the same like a real life person, Sam Rangzi.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
The opposition leader. How do you feel about that?
I didn't know until you told me when we met after the show, and you told me that. That was not my goal. It just happened to be a happy accident. I just try to make Doik sound educated.
Oh.
And yeah, so that's where my process just naturally led me.
You know, throughout the course of your character, I was watching and I'm like, okay, he's intellectual. He also had a love for music. There's something deep in him that he can't sleep, that he expressed at some
That's
point.
right.
And it's just like the way that you done this character, it just like, to me, it was so believable.
Oh,
I wonder, like, how did you dig deep into Deutsch? Like, Deutsch life didn't really reveal anything.
Right.
Nobody know who Deutsch is. This is he's number two.
Right.
Number two, right?
So spoiler alert for you out there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So what helped was trying to humanize him, and he gives you a lot of little clues along the way that, you know, he's ostensibly a normal guy. He's a ex-math teacher who has 4 children. And this is a little tidbit, a little Easter egg from Lauren, who we got to have drinks with after opening night in Pittsburgh, which was the stop we had before Lowell. She said, what's really funny is that his insomnia is probably accurate, historically accurate, because at the time, he was the only officer who could go home at S-21. And he did have children. And he had a baby. So chances are he was sleepless. And I thought that was amazing and so funny and so just right. And I could relate because I have children of my own. So yeah, a lot of the digging wasn't necessarily digging, just, you know, I credit it all to Lauren's writing. She just spells out who this person is and what he's about.
And you also have extensive experience in theater.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer, so I only have about 10 years. But one of my first gigs was with Greg, actually. 2010, 2011, we did Yellowface in San Diego, and that's where I first met Greg.
And how about you? Well, Christopher, Thomas, you played
Yes.
and you know, you were wearing that 1970 back kind of rock band clothes, and we were watching, and you were playing with her really well. So I mean, tell us about yourself.
About
like your. I remember one of the favorite question I asked: how did you land the role?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I took this role over from another actor. There's Matt Yee. He is currently in the Almost Famous musical that's headed to Broadway. And so I joined these cast, the rest of this cast, except for Albert, who joined us in Pittsburgh, about like 2 weeks into the run of the show. So I was there watching rehearsals. I was there shadowing Matt to like learn the part backstage, what's happening, what he's doing. And then I had 3 rehearsals. I had one rehearsal with the assistant director, one rehearsal with Marty, our director, and then one rehearsal with Matt McNally, our music director. And then I had a put-in, which is just basically a run of the show with the cast, and then I went on in front of an audience.
which is crazy. No one should ever do that.
Right.
You land on this role as like the way a Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, but the show is so good that I was really happy, and I know that Matt was expressing to me before he left that he was really glad that that the play would still live on. It's not like he was able to pursue his career, and also the play would still live on. So I was really grateful to be a part of this.
Show us the shirt. What's in there?
Hey, we're both wearing this Ciclo shirt.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a Ciclo shirt.
Yeah. It's a shirt from the OSF cast. Designed it. Yeah.
And OSF is the Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
Oregon
so-
Shakespeare. That's where the other cast was.
I think Jane Louie was the one who came up with the design, like all the iterations of the design.
Yeah.
It's evolved.
Yes.
And Jane Louie originated the role of Poe.
Yeah.
You know, for the information for our American audience, Ciclo is, how do you describe Ciclo? How Ciclo looks like?
Oh, there's a
That
picture of
one's
one here.
It's a little silhouette, but
little hand-pulled cart, a human-powered taxi.
Yeah, I mean, in Chicago they call them rickshaws. Yeah.
Yeah. And Eileen, how about you? You were kind of hidden in this role, but you were playing a lot the electric keyboard.
Yeah.
No? Yes.
Yeah.
And describe your feeling being part of the band playing.
Oh man, it's the best thing. I was a musician before I was an actor, and so that's always just been something that's been in my body, in my brain since I was a tiny kid. And to be able to be a part of the show and to rock out every day with everybody being as incredible on their instruments as they are, it's just so much fun to just jam with your friends.
Yeah.
With your friends.
And the songs are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so much fun to play.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that you guys would get together again, after this over and jamming?
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%. I think
Yeah.
we all intend to.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of being in the same place.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
logistics. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that we got to do is we met some Khmer folks who were survivors who were musicians, and so we got a chance they were so generous. They invited us over to one of their houses, fed us a meal, made a Khmer food, and then brought us down to the basement where they had a full rig set. They had a full drum kit and a PA system and 5 or 6 amps and a mixing board, and then we just played with them. They played some songs, and then we played songs from the show, and then we played some songs together.
Yeah,
it was we danced
because they played
they played
They
Ciclo.
played the original Ciclo. They played the original
Champa Batambang.
Batambang.
We
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
Ani.
Yeah, Ani.
yes.
Yeah, which is
Yes,
not in our
Ani is
show,
the
but
famous one,
yeah. And there's a piece of music that's in the show. We use it. It's playing from the radio in the beginning of the show, and then it's being played on a record player at the end of the show. And one of the fellows says, "Oh, I love that song," and he wanted to play it for us, but we haven't had a chance to meet up with him again. I can't remember what he called it because it was in Khmer, and I don't speak Khmer. So.
I mean, one of the things that I think all of us viewers can agree on is your voice is just undeniably golden.
Thanks.
And it's given me a thought. A couple of thoughts came to mind as I watched, and I was thinking. I said, many people sing opera. They don't speak Italian, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of a new era where play about Cambodian rock band, Cambodian song sing by
That's pretty cool.
different nationality, and your voice really truly golden and has that reflection of original Sere Sutia.
Oh yes.
So just wanna comment on that. So tell me, how old are you? You look young.
Oh, I'm 32.
Now that makes me feel old
No.
because we about the same age, but I feel like I'm
Whatever.
but I mean, you play with Craig like father and daughter.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was when he came land on a plane to Phnom Penh.
Yeah.
And then, like the first scene right off the bat, you were a Cambodian daughter, 100%. I mean, these are real, and I'm just like, how do you guys figure all this out? Did a Cambodian person actually were there helping you figure all this out?
I mean, again, it's Lauren Yee. She did her research and she wrote characters that were very reflective of the Cambodian, family. And so because she wrote those words, and Marty, our director, was great at helping us finesse those words to find what we found. But I think a lot of it was just the writing. Yeah.
Because I remember in college I took couple theater
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah.
But I remember getting the script. My script didn't never tell you how to play
Yeah.
the words, how to move your body.
Yeah.
It just gives you script or just script.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Right.
why I'm like exploring these characters. I'm like, how did you find like Cambodian time? Like
Yeah.
like how do you how did you find that too? Like who some of
Well, I
the-
think a lot of it, and you were speaking to this last night. We did a talk back last night about what we want from each other on stage, what we're trying to get from each other or from a situation. If you want to speak about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, sure. It's just to reiterate what Asia was saying is that a lot of it is in the writing, and as I mentioned before, Joe No, who is Khmer, was involved from early workshops. So for all I know, because I didn't get to read early drafts, I was involved in a workshop that was pretty late, just before they premiered it. So most of the writing that you have that you see here was already in place. But I'm sure that he was able to give insight into things that were particularly Cambodian, particularly Khmer. But
So who was Joe? Remind me again.
so he played Chum. He played the character that I was portraying, but in the original cast, in the world premiere cast. And that cast is actually going to continue performing. They'll be in New York, and then they'll be in Portland. To a greater or lesser degree, some cast people are changing out. But to what Asia was pointing out, in terms of taking a script and then getting it, the difference between the journey of a script and then standing on stage and saying all the words is, all of that process is a collaborative group process that involves the other actors and it involves the director, as well as if it's a brand new play, the playwright, because sometimes things will change over the course of the rehearsal. And sometimes when you're playing something where it's so outside of yourself, then you need some consultants. So there are people who help you out with that. We have something in theater called a dramaturg.
I see.
And
So for the purpose of time, we have 2 minutes left.
Oh, great.
Okay.
But this has been really fun, really fun. And I think in final closing, I guess we can tell our audience where the Cambodian rock band go next, and are you guys going?
Yeah.
We are not going on. We end this Sunday, so if you go to Merrimack Repertory Theater in downtown Lowell, we'll be playing there through Sunday.
November 10th.
November 10th.
November
yeah.
10th, yes. And so we have, I don't know how many shows we have, 5 left? Six left, including tonight. So, which...
And where's the Cambodian rock band traveling on after this?
La Jolla Playhouse in California, and then it'll go to New York City at Signature, and then it will go to Portland. Which theater?
Portland Center Stage.
Portland Center Stage. Those are the next. Oh, and then it's going to Minnesota in the summer.
Yeah,
That's
a
right.
separate
A
cast.
separate cast, a brand new
Yeah.
So
cast.
each place, they all will be separate casts because
Only Portland. And then New York has the same cast as California and Oregon, but a couple of people might
Yeah.
get changed out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I heard the one that in California will have Cambodian actor actually going to play your role, Rosemary
Oh,
Sophia.
no,
That's
Joe
Joe.
played the dad.
That's who we're
Joe
talking
the
about.
dad?
Yeah.
Cambodian
Yeah.
actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our cousin and I, we are waiting to compare notes.
Oh, good, good.
So stay tuned, stay in touch.
Absolutely.
So thank you, everyone. That's it. We have the time for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And
Thank
enjoy
you so
the rest
much.
of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.